How's Russian economy doing in November of 2023? Let's talk numbers and economic trends today. Howdy, howdy everyone, my name is Konstantin and welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. Not here, propaganda, BS or lies. Here, truth, common sense and logic. And emotions too, because I am a human being after all. And today we will start talking about numbers because it's getting close to the end of the year and it's time to kind of see the results of the year. December is going to be here before we know it, so we'll start right now. And I will talk generally about what's going on in Russian economy. I will not dive deep into the numbers, Росстат, results, the statistics, and so forth. We will be doing it later this year. There'll be plenty of time. Today we'll just talk of general things, and I will start with demography. You see, the economy consists of few major parts, okay? And I kind of try to go over these parts. So, we'll start with demography. As you know, people is the most valuable resource of any country. And Russia loses people every single month, more and more. Casualties in war and refugees leave in Russia. Not much has changed. Well, I'm not sure I'm not aware of the situation at the front lines, but I assume that not much has changed. The rumors are that Russia is losing more soldiers, more people as ever. So people keep leaving Russia. I see some people come here to Tashkent, to Uzbekistan in general. Every week I see new members at Tashkent Breakfast Club. So definitely people keep leaving. And 1 year ago, myself included and many others, left Russia on a very short notice like this. Now, people who leave are very different. You see, they have been preparing. They were selling their assets, their properties, their cars. They were building a new place to come, so to speak, so preparing the new place. And they finally come. They bring their lives, they finish their lives there, and they bring them to this new place or new places. So the entire family is now come. And there's other kind of people who will start leaving Russia en masse, I think. The Jewish population of Russia. Well, no wonder after what happened last Sunday in Dagestan, pogroms returned to Russia after 118 years, okay? I think that many Jewish people are going to be thinking of leaving Russia. And, if I was them, I would do the same. So, demographic situation in general is getting worse. Fewer people available to the labor force. More people are getting killed in Ukraine. And, lots of people leave. Moving on. Inflation. Inflation is galloping. An increase in inflation of 20%, that's what we're seeing right now. That's just, if we take the inflation that happened in the third quarter, okay, then, we will see the annual inflation of 12%. Elvira Nabiulina, the head of Russia's central bank, has been publicly warning everyone of the dangers of, what's coming, of high inflation. The prices pretty much everything are rising. They have risen a great deal. The situation is getting worse. Now the government is admitting that inflation expectations were very soft, the ones they set In the beginning of the year, 6%, very soft, not met. No kidding. The official inflation they're talking about is double that 12, and that's not the real numbers. The real life inflation is from 25 to 30% of my estimation. Surprise, surprise, Let me quote Elvira Nabiulina, and she's actually been very public, very outspoken about that. She seems to be the only outlet of the Russian government who speaks truth of the economic situation and of what's to come. Let me quote Elvira Nabiulina. Russian consumers in the coming years will have to tighten their belts and reduce purchases of goods and services against the background of accelerating inflation and reduction in their incomes. The Bible says those who have ears will hear, okay? What else do Russian people, what else do Russian people need to hear? That's the head of the central bank warning them. She sends a very strong and straightforward message to all Russian people. Hey, prepare for the worst. Tighten your seats, tighten your belts, But most people either don't care or simply aren't sober to understand what she's talking about. Not one single person who I speak to in Russia, who are still in Russia, and I speak to them on a regular basis, not one single person listens to Elvira Nabiulina. I tell them, I said, well, look, this is what she said. And people are dumbfounded. They get back to me, how does it concern me? How does it not concern you? That's what I usually say, but, no one listens. But, comes next year, and the Russian government will simply say, hey, what are you complaining about? We told you, we've been telling you all along. Look, on this date, the press conference, on this date, on this footage everywhere, it's still available on the website. Moving on. Personal loans bubble keeps on growing. That's a very interesting and very strange situation at the same time. I've been telling you that currently there's a bubble growing on a financial market in terms of personal loans are given to pretty much anyone who asks for them. Every single month starting June brings the record high in loans issued. I've been asking myself this question. Why do they continue doing that? Why don't they stop it? Central bank has plenty of tools to put caps on issuing personal loan. They need to regulate this market somehow. They need to. What are they doing? It's easy. It's really easy for Russia's central bank to change the situation. All they do is they change compliance in banks, or perhaps they introduce minimum requirements for loans, financial requirements for people. But they somehow don't do that. And most Russians now have revolving debts, loans. I think you know what revolving loans is. You take a loan to pay a previous loan, and then you take a new loan to pay the previous loan you just took out, because you simply don't make enough money to pay out loans without help of new loans, okay? An average Russian now has three loans, and it is impossible to pay off a loan at 50% or more, and this is what the key interest rate right now. And I've been asking myself this question. Why are they doing it? Are they stupid? No, they're not. I know they're not. And then the answer came to me this week. Unbelievable, folks. There was a news that debt collectors, the collectors, started introducing new service. They go to collect debts, defaulted loans, defaulted payments, and instead of talking to people, and there are procedures in Russia. For example, they can arrest your bank account, they can arrest your car, they can repossess your car, they can, start repossessing your apartment or house. Instead of doing that, they started introducing this new service, new idea to people. Go sign up to the armed forces of Russian Federation, and you will pay off your loans. New recruits. How did not I think about that before? This is how they create new recruits. This is how people sign up on their own, voluntarily, because they don't have anything else, no other choice, okay? They've taken out so many loans, they can't pay them, and now they face harsh reality. They lose something, they get into financial mess, and it's not pretty to go through bankruptcy. It's not pretty when the collectors are after you. In Russia, the collectors, they're animals. They can set your house on fire, your car on fire, and things like that. It's like mafia. You don't want to deal with them. But hey, now the collectors, I guess, playing the good cops. They approach people and say, why don't you just sign up? We have this paperwork for you. You can go to this, we will take you to this recruitment office and mobilization office, and voila. I told you, they're not stupid. They're actually very smart. And I assume that is working, okay? I assume they're getting more and more people. But that's not, it actually is the temporary answer to get more recruits, but it's not the answer to that bubble that is growing bigger and bigger. Because the bubble, the debts, they still will have to be paid, okay? What if a person dies? What if, usually they start making money, that's about 200,000 rubles per month. That's $2,000 per month if you sign up with the Russian Armed Forces. And most Russians, they have not seen this amount so big to make monthly, okay? So they go crazy. Instead of paying loans, they start drinking, they start buying things, new shiny things, big screen TVs, computers, and they just basically, they do not invest, they spend. And it does not help this bubble that is growing bigger and bigger. Sooner or later, it'll burst, and I think it'll burst sooner. I think it's about to start bursting because of the key interest rate. That will I address very soon, in a couple minutes. Let's move on. Financial commissars introduced to Russian companies. Folks, this is an interesting occurrence. On my memory, it hasn't happened before. Vladimir Putin signed a new law that regulates Russian companies on how much of currency, foreign currency, they can keep for themselves if they export something and get hard currency from abroad. Okay, for example, if you are an oil company and you get revenue of $100 million per month from the oil that you sold overseas somewhere, then you had a choice to bring that money into Russia, keep that money in American dollars, or to keep the money outside Russia for, something that you need. For example, to buy new equipment or spare parts for your equipment, oil drilling equipment or oil pumping equipment, things like that. So Putin changed that to keep ruble stabilized, the exchange rate, under 100. Putin, well, I'm sure it was not Putin, but there were people from the economic bloc of Russian government. They came up with this genius idea. So they decided to tell companies how much they can keep for themselves and how much they have to convert into rubles. This measure actually helps to keep the exchange rate lower, okay? And it keeps ruble from devaluing that much. Because what happens, there is a bunch of dollars that enter the country and are sold at the local market. So the demand for US dollars is satisfied somewhat, okay? And the Russian ruble is going down when the demand is not satisfied. So basically, this is a measure introduced by the Russian government. But now, get this. This special people come to your company, to your financial director, and they mandate on what you do, when and how much and where you pay. That's not free economy. That's not market economy. That's back into the USSR, planned economy, okay? Well, whether the companies like it or not, this is new Russian reality. Let's move on. Oh, my favorite, the key interest rate. It was raised to 15% a few days ago. 15%. This is extremely, extremely high. Why such raise? Why 15%? Well, I want to give you a little bit of history. In July of this year, not too long ago, the key interest rate was 7.5. There have been 3 increases. So since July, it's doubled. Okay, they simply use the interest rate, the key interest rate, and then the agency that raises is responsible for maintaining the key interest rate is Russia's central bank, of course. So by raising the rate, they want to keep ruble from devaluing. But that will not help, absolutely will not help. Russia does not export anything except for oil and a little bit of gas. Therefore, Russian rubles aren't needed to anyone, anywhere outside Russia. So Putin introduced this new law that if somehow you export something, for example, oil, because the companies still export some oil, then you need to bring dollars inside Russia. So, and then the second tool to keep ruble from devaluing is the raising key interest rate. What they're doing is they are putting the ruble devaluation on pause. They're not solving the problem, they just pausing it, okay? What this measure, increasing the interest rate, can help is to cool down Russian economy. And how are they cooling down the economy? It's very simple. I'll give you an example. Case 1, Russia, July 2023. Key interest rate was 7%, and commercial bank loans for businesses could be taken out at around 15%. Okay, you go to a bank, take a loan, 15%. That's what you pay every year. Case 2, November 2nd. The key interest rate is 15% now, and the commercial bank loans for businesses can be taken out at around 25 to 30%. Do you see the difference? Would you take a commercial loan at 25% for your own business if you have it? I personally wouldn't. It's too expensive. To service such loan at 25%, you need to make margin on your product of around 35-40%. And that is crazy. That's not possible in today's Russia. if I had a choice whether to keep on taking loans at 25%, I would rather scale down my business or perhaps even close it. If any business people out there, please let me know in the comments, okay? What's your interest rate, current interest rate for your bank loan, okay? Would you pay 25%? I would love to know that. Now, think of all Russian industries suffering from the high key interest rate. What about the developers, real estate developers, willing to build housing? Will they build at 25%? What about those companies, those developers who have already built and trying to sell houses and apartments? Now, it's not the key interest rate influences not only affects not only big companies, but personal loans as well and mortgages. Now, would you take out a mortgage at 19%? I wouldn't. That's crazy. So imagine what's going to happen to real estate market now. People simply stop taking money at bank, they stop taking mortgages and buying new apartments. And those developers who had invested large amounts of money, they won't be able to sell the apartments. On top of what's going on now, not too many people can afford the apartments anyway or houses. It's going to get even worse. So that's going to put tremendous pressure on real estate market. Or let's say investors. Not too many left in Russia, but there are some, okay? And put yourself into the shoes of an investor, okay? You want to go out and take a loan and build a factory, okay? And then produce something at the factory, sell it, and repay the loan. Can you do that at 25, 30%? No. So the industries are shrinking, all of them. Russian government is calling this cooling down the economy. They are cooling it down, all right. Oops, let's move on. Oil. Let's talk about oil and gas. Nothing has changed in terms of oil and gas recently. Oil is currently trading around 87. There's been political unrest, the war between Israel and Hamas. And that has driven oil prices higher, but not too crazily high. So right now it's trading around 87 US dollars for a barrel. Now, I remind you that the price cap for Russian oil is 60 American dollars. Whoever buys oil and ships it by sea cannot pay more than $60. Otherwise, the buyer would be fined. And not the buyer, the insurance company will be fined a great deal, and the transport company will be fined. So this measure is working, still working, but only partially. Lots of Russian crooks have discovered ways to go around the ban. So oil is trading not at $87, not at market price with discounts, but higher than $60, higher than the price cap. Well, of course, it's done illegally, but Russians have gone around these sanctions, okay? And that price is helping Russian economy a great deal. Still, Russia isn't getting as much money from the oil export as it was before the sanctions, before the war. But it's definitely a good way of getting the revenues. And there's very little natural gas being exported. I'll remind you that the pipelines are not operational. Gasoline and diesel fuel prices are currently record high in Russia. They were setting records at the wholesale commodity exchange in July, in August, and I think even in June. There were 11 or 12 trading sessions where the prices, wholesale prices for gasoline were setting records, okay? And now the Russians start feeling it at the gas pumps. They have been feeling since early September. The situation has not changed. The prices skyrocketed and they're staying there. Russians are paying record high prices for gasoline. There are shortages reported here and there, shortages of gas and diesel fuel here and there, but nothing major, okay? I think the shortages occurred due to two things. First, the Ukrainians have been targeting all large and small oil refineries all over Russia with their drones, and they've done a successful job. The last explosion was at Afipsky oil refinery. It's out of commission now. And then number two, so the supply has gone down because of that, and Russians are having troubles repairing because, foreign companies left and no one is selling Russian spare parts. There are no foreign engineers and so forth. Well, you get the idea. And the second reason is, nobody in Russia is talking about that. Let's ask this question. Where do Russian tanks and trucks in Ukraine get diesel fuel from? Obviously from Russia. Definitely the demand for diesel fuel, for gas, has been fueled up by the tanks rolling. No pun intended. So in 2023 and this year, we've seen 22% price increase for fuel prices. And that in general, that is having a very negative effect on the entire economy, because you need gas and diesel fuel pretty much at anything you do. So the higher gas and diesel, the higher the cost of your goods and services for consumers. Let's move to industries. In early 2023, there was growth recorded in the industries manufacturing everything weapons, guns, tanks, ammo, etc. And based on that growth, Vladimir Putin and his economic minions, they've been going around saying, look, Russia has withstood the sanctions. Russia is growing again. Well, it was only growing in the military part of the economy, military industrial complex. It's no secret that Vladimir Putin, starting early this year, has been pushing for military industrial complex enterprises give more output. And he's been bragging that the Russian factories that manufacture armor, ammo, and so forth, they work in 3 shifts nonstop. And that was a real economic driver of Russian economy. So it showed some growth. But everything non-military, non-weapons, has actually decreased. Okay. Now, what's happening right now in November? The military, everything weapons industries, they have started stagnating. No more growth. In my opinion, the growth that they had in a few months of 2023 is going to be replaced by decrease, by fall, fairly soon. And what about civil industries? They've been falling down, decreasing, going down since beginning of the war, and nothing has changed. Okay, the industries of Russia are under tremendous pressure. The reasons, I think, are pretty clear. Moving on to Russia's budget. Strange numbers in the Russian budget for 2024. I made an entire stream explaining explaining the Russian budget when it came out, and I believe it was in early October 3rd. And what really put a strike was the Ministry of Finance was planning a huge increase of expenses, 24%. And the majority of that increase is going to everything military, okay, to the military-industrial complex. So they're beefing up what they call defense and what I call offense. At the same time, they are planning a huge increase in revenues by about 22%. Huge increase of revenues. Now, wait a second. Where that increase will come from? Is Russia's economic future bright? Something great's going to happen soon, that the economy will simply be revived and will start going up? Many economists have been laughing, saying, hey, these people at the Russian government responsible for the budget, Ministry of Finance, they're simply incompetent or delusional. They say you can't have 22% revenue increase. The economy is shrinking. There will be decrease in revenues. It's a simple economic law. Where are you going to get 22%? Well, that's far from the truth. I think that we are seeing a little dirty secret of Russian government. Economic wing of the Russian government. It's simply the roadmap in front of our eyes that they've laid out. And this is a plan of actions. And it's just too many people are not seeing. They don't know how to read it. This is what I think. I'm an economist. I've been thinking about this budget nonstop for the past month, okay? I think that people who drafted Russia's budget for 2024 are very smart. Actually, very smart. Now, this is what will happen. They will use central bank tool of the key rate to keep ruble to dollar exchange rate at around 100 rubles for $1 American until the presidential election coming up next March. They don't want to stir the boat, so to speak, to rock the boat. Okay, they want everything stable for the next 6 months. They want Russian people not to be stressed out about anything. They want cheap vodka be supplied to Russian men and women. They want to create many concerts, great shows. They want to give people the bread and the circus. Is that the right in English? They want to people vote for whoever they want, whoever is needed. Whether it's Putin, perhaps it's not going to be Putin, someone else, okay? But they need people not to revolt, not to worry much until March. And when people see exchange rate of above 100, they start worrying. Newspapers start writing about that because that's a psychological level, 100 rubles per dollar. And people will start actually feeling the pinch because they will be paying more and more for products imported from abroad because they paid for in American dollars, but the Russians are shelling out Russian rubles. So Russian government needs everyone to be quiet, and they're selling this picture that everything is peachy-dory. Now, after the elections, we will see a completely different story. They will devalue Russian ruble and introduce a slew of new personal and corporate taxes. They will be sucking even more money out of people, regular people, and the companies. I will give you an example. 100 rubles versus 122 rubles. Let's say the interest rate is 100 rubles for $1 American. And Russian company, oil company that belongs to the government, sells oil for $1. Now, oil goes out, $1 goes into Russia. That $1 is converted into 100 rubles because the exchange rate is 100 rubles. And that 100 rubles goes to the Russian government, and the Russian government pays the salaries of school children, police officers, the army. 100 rubles go to, I don't know, to build more tanks, to build more roads, and so to speak. Everything else like that. Now, $1 gets 100 rubles. But then the exchange rate is 122. So $1 goes in, and now it's already 122 rubles. But you see, the Russian government still needs to pay the same amount of rubles because school children, school teachers, doctors, all government employees, their salaries do not depend on the exchange rate. Their salaries stay flat, okay? But the government with a higher exchange rate gets more money. It fills budget more, okay? And this is what they're going to do. If they increase spendings by, 22%. No, expenditures, they increase by 24% and revenues by 22%. And this is it. This is how they're going to do that. They're going to jack up the interest rate. Oh, I'm sorry, not the interest, the exchange rate. And they will introduce new taxes. They will simply be getting more money out of people and out of corporations. Voila! Voila! This is so easy. And Elvira Nabiulina basically told us a few times already. She told Russian people what to expect. She's being honest. Oh, summing up. The Titanic keeps on sinking. At a bit slower rate than I thought. The main reason for that is high oil prices at the current global markets, but it keeps on sinking steadily. There is nothing that can turn the process around. At least I don't see anything. I thought the crash will happen by the end of this year, and it looks like it'll start happening like big time around March, April. It's right after the elections. But you know what? March is around the corner. It's not too far. And at the end of the stream, I'm going to share a little thing with you. I hope you find it interesting. I think that most economists who talk of the Russian economy are making one mistake. They're viewing Russia's economy as market economy, influenced by the laws of free markets. The market's invisible hand in place in Russia, but it's not market economy anymore. It's a state-controlled economy, at least partially controlled. It's a war economy. It's the economy influenced by pressured by the constant domestic political instability. It's influenced by the international sanctions. Would you like a recent example of that? On June 24th, Russian ruble exchange rate to US dollar was 83 rubles 60 kopecks, 83.60. 2 weeks later, on July 8th, the exchange rate jumped to 91 ruble 68 kopecks for $1. That's a 10% increase. And it happened exclusively due to political instability, the Wagner mutiny, okay? If not for the Wagner mutiny, things would have been different. But then Yevgeny Prigozhin announced that he was going to topple Putin and moved on to Moscow, and he almost succeeded. None of the economists could foresee that jump. 10% is hugely important for the economy. It changes so many things in Russia. voila, it happens and the economy starts going a different way. Another example, the Jewish pogroms all over Russian South this past weekend. And by the way, if you haven't watched my video explaining what exactly happened, check it out. I'm going to put the link right here or down below in the comments. The pogroms will definitely influence markets in the following weeks, perhaps and months, and perhaps years. And they will do it not in a good way. Many influential Jewish business people will review their long-term plans and strategies of working in Russia. And I would do too if I were them. Much capital will exit Russia and many businesses will relocate. But for Russia, they will close. That's all that matters. They will just relocate to other, more safer places. I'm giving you this as an example to show that the Russian economy depends a great deal on political events. Markets thrive in stability and in atmosphere of firm rules of the game that don't change, at least don't change often. What's happening in Russia is completely opposite. The markets and the economy depend greatly on the decisions of very few men, the Russian president and his buddies. So we are in a very turbulent fall and winter. Friends, sit down, tighten your seatbelts, enjoy the show of Russian economy collapse. I see big things coming very soon. And make sure you keep on coming back and checking in, because I will be talking about them. That's it for today's message. Thank you so very much. I'd like to turn on the live stream chat and hear your feedback, your opinions. Perhaps you have questions. I'd love to answer them. Let me turn the live stream chat on, and while I'm doing that, I'm asking you to please help me spread this message by making reposts on your social media accounts. That helps a lot, feeds the algorithm, so to speak. And if you'd like to buy me a tea or coffee, I would love that. Buy me a coffee is a good place. Not necessarily, but, would be very appreciated and welcome. Thank you. The live stream chat is on, and just give me a second to fine-tune it a little bit. If you're not seeing the live stream chat, please. I'm not seeing it. There you go. It looks like it's working now. I'm still not seeing it. I have two computers, and one of them has live stream chat, another one doesn't. Hang on, stay with me, please. Stay with me, please. There you go. It's on. I'm seeing everyone. And this is the best part of any stream. When I see that the screen in front of me explodes with activity and everyone is here. Thank you so much for coming. If you're here for the first time, this community, Inside Russia community, has the best moderation team in the world. Mommy K, Lorna, they're always the first ones to check in. Bob S., Harry Potnan, Amir, Fazad. Thank you, friends, for coming. Thank you. Fantastic. and the usual suspects, and Dirk is always number one among the usual suspects. How do you do that, Dirk? If you want me to notice your message or question easier, please put it in all caps and put inside Russia after @ so it appears in large orange highlighted box. Thank you so much. I would love to answer your questions. Love doing that. Just like Sam K did. Howdy. Howdy, Sam. You're a legend. Ferrari guy, Mr. Kaliskin from Chicago. Tom W, Julie W, Lilith, Steven Leitmotiv, Scott Nesbitt, Kevin Baker, Baker Stock, KG1, Veronica, Allison, and Frank in Texas, and the others. Pentium, due to the time change in Lithuania, won't be able to watch you live as frequently. I will still be watching now. Look, friends, what we are planning on doing, because everyone goes back 1 hour, I am also going to roll back the start of the streams here in Tashkent 1 hour. So instead of my midnight, I'll start at 11 p.m. every day. So that way we all will not see the difference. It's still going to be the same time. So please stay tuned. Vernon from Hawaii, howdy. We have another Hawaiian, Keith. Not seeing him today. Cookie Bombay, Doxy Mom, Andreas Benz, Tom W, Alex, Denmark, from Denmark, Benny, Dive Crew Canada, Joe's Rames, Life, Carolyn, EW74, Philip, Gotan Potier, did Birabidjan authority said something about what happened in Dagestan? Not sure why would Birabidjan authorities say anything. I haven't heard anything. SVR from Switzerland. And a couple super chats from J. N from Australia. Thank you so much for... Let me... I think this is good. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for supporting. And you usually do not send messages. Not message today. And still, this message is very loud. Heard and appreciated. Thank you so much. Julie W, thank you for gifting sponsorship to 5 people. Hey, that's a fantastic start of November, you know. Folks, what do you think of Russian economy? Any questions? Chris, I watched your video on anti-Semitism within Russia. Thank you for sharing it. I posted it on my social media. Hopefully world peace is not too far away. My friend, praying for that. I pray for that every day, and I invite everyone to pray with me. There are thousands of people praying. So you're welcome to pray with us too. Lorraine Prasnowski, howdy. Amir. This is a tough one. Clay Trio. Hello from Arizona. I wish this live chat had been running earlier. I'm sorry about that. That's the best time we have found that kind of suits everyone. Daniel McInnes, thank you so much. Having tea with you, learning from your excellent streams. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Sending my love to Canada. I appreciate it very much. Hey, should I put it right here? hard time. I think this is okay. There you go. Kevin Baker, thank you for the question. When will be the point people in Russia care about the economy? So far, no one seemed to care. Kevin, I actually have a fear. And that fear is they will not care at all. Even if they're going to be starving, they still wouldn't care. They would take it humbly as their fate. Now, I don't know whether it'll happen or not, but this is definitely what I have in my mind now, because things happen in Russia. They have happened over this past 9 months that are very disturbing, that catch everyone's attention, that make you think. And yet no one thinks. No one asks questions. And when I instigate people, when I talk to them, my distant family, my friends, my classmates, they don't want to listen. Oh, what can we do? There's not much can be done. No, it's all decided for us. It's your lives. How can it be decided for? It's your money. I mean, you pay the money out of your pocket in terms of taxes. How can anyone decide how much you pay? And if they decide for you, it's pretty darn pathetic, But this is what's happening. So I don't know. I'm afraid that there will be no such point when they will start caring. Great Southern Land, I don't think Russia understands the economic collapse will continue well after the war is over. Your thoughts? Well, look, I've said that many, many times. What you said is absolutely obvious to me and to anyone, obviously to you. I think you're spot on. The collapse will absolutely not stop. The sanctions will be not lifted. The companies will not return to Russia. The technologies will not be sold. The investors definitely will not come to Russia. But there are many Russians who think that, everyone's going to be back. Everything is going to be back to normal as soon as the war is over. No, they're in for a big surprise, And that's another mystery. Why do they think so? Long Beach, Joe Jets, thank you so much. Thank you. This is exactly what my intention is. To help people get a great look into Russia and understand Russia more. Wolfgang Kohn, you said you expect Russia weapon industry to decrease. Why? It is war. And in war, the weapon industry has biggest priority. It is true. Right now, the statistics from Rostov, Russia's statistics agency, is showing that the industry, the military-industrial complex is not growing anymore. It's, Stalin, flat line. And in economy, it's either up or down, usually. You don't stay in one place. What I think, they have used up most of the resources available to them in terms of people. You can throw more money, but you cannot make people out of thin air, okay? You cannot make more engineers. You cannot make more factory workers. Qualified workers, so to speak. You cannot keep on increasing this sector of economy forever. And I think they've maxed out, okay? I think that they're going to be decreasing, although not by much, but decreasing because for them to keep on producing, they need semiconductor and parts from the West. They are still buying these things, despite all the sanctions. But the Americans are watching very closely, and they start going after companies and people who help Russians evade the sanctions, okay? The recent example, 4 Russians arrested in the United States in multi-million-dollar evasion of sanctions, and there are like dozens of companies have been, their bank accounts have been arrested, and there's a big bust on one of the schemes. And I think there will be more and more, and that will be crippling Russia's military-industrial complex. That's what my thoughts are from. Daniel McInnes, again, thank you so much. Crusader Damien, fantastic to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Margarita Simonyan, not Simonova, Simonyan says, we have shown our real Satan faces, that our economies are on the verge of collapse, unlike Russian economy. Does RT lie? Of course not. Of course, your satanic faces. Of course, your dollar is going to be collapsing soon. I mean, it's obvious, right? Because Russia, Mother Russia, all of these things. Look, they've been telling it to Russian people, I don't know, for the past 8 years, okay? And actually, there are crazy ones who believe that. I have heard it many times. Well, American dollar is going to collapse because it's not based on anything, not on gold. And I just look at these people and I think, what are you smoking? Do you even understand how currency works, how economies work? Do you understand what America stands on, Canada stands on? Do you understand what Europe stands on and Russia? And you know what? When I returned to Russia, Russian ruble was trading at 28 rubles for $1 American. And then demand for rubles was growing. And ruble was becoming stronger and stronger. And by 2007, the ruble grew to 24 rubles for American dollar. So now, let's say you make 240,000 rubles now. And you've been making it for the past 20 years. That's a lot of money. But now it's $2,400. Used to be $10,000. Okay? And if you are paid in Russian rubles, that was pretty darn good. You keep on making 10 grand every month. That's after taxes. And you're feeling really, really well about that. Now, Russian ruble costs American dollar costs, today was trading 94, I believe. So this is who collapsed. I mean, let's not talk the talk, but let's walk the walk. And the ruble has definitely walked the walk, but it kind of walked backwards. Okay, so this is basically, anyone can answer that to Margarita Simonyan. What is the exchange rate today? How much is it trading for $1? How much was it trading before the war? How much was it trading in 2012 before the Crimea annexation? Oh, it was trading at 30 rubles, 33 rubles for $1. And then it jumped to 74 overnight, huh? Oh, nice. So if you're ever to see Margarita Simonyan, you can tell it straight into her face. KG1, thank you so much. as European economies slide into recession, Russia seems to be doing better than expected, overtaking Germany in some listings. Friend, I'll be trying to unsee it, okay? Please do not send super chat. Just send me a message, like highlight it so I see it. What makes you think that Russia seems to be doing better than expected? What makes you think that, it's overtaken Germany in some listings? What listings? Please let me know. Inflation? Currency exchange rate? What listings? I have a feeling that's going to be a good conversation. Let's do a dialogue. Melissa, thank you so much. Let's put it right here on the screen. There you go. That's better. Fort Benning is in the Columbus, Georgia, USA. Also, I have found that when anger, fear, jealousy, and greed turns to hatred, demons invade the soul. Melissa, thank you so much. Sending love to Georgia from Uzbekistan. And you're spot on. I don't even know how to explain myself right. I have seen demons on Russian TV. I even have seen them in real life. Okay. And the recipe is different, but definitely that the hate, that greed and fear and jealousy, those are the ingredients. I think you're right. Caesars, howdy friend. Just Googled the age dependency ratio Russia. Well, it was 50.3 in 2022. Hang on 1 second. Well, I'm seeing 5038. 5038, and not 32, 5038. But that's the number from World Bank. I simply don't know whether it's true or not. Right here, another Google answer is 63. 50.38 and 63, that's quite different, okay? So which number to believe? I personally don't know. If you wanted to make a comment of the demographics, well, this number is going to be going down. Not down, not actually up. Well, it's going to get worse. Much, much, much worse. Very, very soon. That's what I think. Susie Mailer? No, that the dependency ratio, dependency age dependency ratio, there are different explanations. Usually it's how many dependents on working people, for example, 100 working people in the labor force, and then there are so many retired people, children, disabled, and so forth. That's usually the ratio. Problem with fudge coin, it gets stuck in the vending machine. Guy L, good to see you. Just Terry, look, I apologize. There's nothing I can do. I manually tried to disable them, but somehow YouTube changed policy. Okay, about a month ago, they changed something with the ads. I'm not really sure what they did, but they keep on showing ads. Okay, I tried to turn them off completely. It didn't work. So I even asked for advice of wiser people, but still no luck so far. Jeffrey asks, have you watched Agent Nasty? She's so funny. I watched a couple of videos. That girl is very funny. She needs to be a stand-up comedian. Blind chicken. You still remember that, yeah? Blind chicken store. It still beats me. I wish I was in Moscow, folks. I would actually go and film, that right store. I would film the sign, the blind chicken store. Do they actually have chicken with like black glasses on or something like that? Robert Whip. Howdy, friend. Get your family a warm cup of tea with this, Constantine. And as always, many greetings from the Netherlands. Robert, thank you so much. I will do that. $15 will buy me a breakfast for me and for Natasha tomorrow morning. We will go to attend the Breakfast Club breakfast. No pun intended. We did this morning. I skipped because I had a business meeting. I'm still trying to do some business development for the energy company, basically voluntarily. Nothing happened yet. No contract. It's incredibly difficult market to break into. But I meet people here and there sometimes, so I had a meeting outside of Tashkent a couple days ago, so I could not go to have breakfast with everyone. But other than that, everything's been fine. Breakfasts every morning. Last Sunday we had two very good lectures. I invited two psychologists, and they presented. Well, basically, one did a very short introduction into psychoanalysis, by Sigmund Freud, that thing, and another one did practical psychology, how to talk to people. That was pretty interesting. So thank you so much Robert for your help, and it'll definitely buy me breakfast. Kevin Baker, thank you for gifting sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you so much. Paul, let me tell you, over 80% of loans requests in Russia get rejected now. I have heard in the recent days that they start cracking down, but I'm not sure how truthful this information is, because I am keep on hearing completely different story. I keep on hearing that they promoting people to take out loans and they know that the people will fail them, they will default them. And then they have one way out: to sign up to the armed forces and go fight in Ukraine. So I have not heard of this. Actually, I'm watching closely because I think that's one of the drivers of the demise. This is very important. Once it's just like a domino effect. Once defaults start happening, they will happen all at once and en masse. Okay, and I think that can bury Russian financial system, commercial banks. So you see, I think that the central bank will be bailing out some large banks, but not all the banks. And then money is already running on empty in Russia, and then central bank will not have enough to bail them out. So once the banks start falling, not good. So there was KG1. Did you write me? Mark Bramlett, Russians too scared to react to government-controlled issues. You know, they're scared, but at the same time they're indifferent. They're very they have lots of apathy. I'm looking and seeing it, and I'm absolutely in awe. I would like to wrap it up soon, but I'm waiting for the answer from KG1. Not seeing it. If anyone saw that, could you please retype it? Why you think that Russian economy is in some instances doing better than the German one? No, not seeing it. But anyway, I'd love to hear this opinion. Because I'm seeing completely the opposite. Russian economy is not withstanding the sanctions. Russian economy is going down. Yeah, they're trying to put good face on it. You know, wait until tomorrow. I'm going to give you more. I give you a general overview of Russian economy, but tomorrow I'm going to give you the facts and crazy news update. The crazy news update facts. Okay, so tune in tomorrow. And friends, let us wrap up. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for giving me another chance. This is the last live stream. I remind you that I'm taking a break for a week, starting Sunday, ending Sunday. So from the 5th to the 12th. Michael is going on vacation, his first school vacation ever. He's in first grade and he's finishing up his first quarter. And I promised him to spend more time with him. Anastasia, thank you so much. Understood. I will address that in a second. So I am going to be spending lots of time with the family, and I've given lots of things outstanding. I will answer all the messages on Patreon that I have not answered. You know, it's getting really hard to do a live stream every single day. I will not stop. I will continue doing it. I guess this comes in waves. If I take a break, it's much easier after that. So I will take a break. I will be still around, probably making community posts, things like that, you know. Because once I'm away from computer for a couple days, away from work, I get bored, to be honest with you. And I want to get back, but hey, promise is a promise, promised my son, my family. So I will do a live stream tomorrow, or perhaps a video, most likely live stream, but no live stream chat. I will do a live stream chat for sponsors and patrons as usual on Saturday, perhaps a little half an hour earlier, something like that. And, then I will be absent on Sunday through Sunday. I might record a couple videos. Because I have a feeling I'll get bored. But we'll see. So anyway, thank you so much for coming. It is my honor and my pleasure to have you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me invite everyone to pray with me. Let's finish this prayer in a good way. Let's finish this live stream with a prayer in a good way. Thank you. Let's do it. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this life, this day. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Thanks for giving us food. Thanks for giving us roof. Thanks for giving us homes that are dry and warm and comfortable. Please give us wisdom to keep our children's sky about our children's heads peaceful and clear and safe. Please give us wisdom to raise our children the way that when they grow up and become adults, they will make this world a better place. For now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of people who are responsible and capable of making that decision. Do whatever is needed to be done so they wake up from their lethargic sleep and make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please help every single Ukrainian that's been affected, answer their prayers, and make their wishes come true. Dear Lord, please help my country, Russia. Assemble the army, your heavenly army of strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, and send them onto this earth to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Please send good people and angels to run Russia. Make it peaceful, loving, loved, respecting, and respected. Please help everyone who is traveling, send them safe travels. Help everyone who is seeking for asylum. Help all single mothers raising their children and struggling, making their ends meet. Please send help to them. Help everyone who is helping Ukrainians. God bless them. And help all the Ukrainians who are under fire, under attacks from the Russian missiles right now. Please send them safety. Dear Lord, help everyone who is sick, homeless, jobless, addicted, hungry, depressed, betrayed, not feeling well about himself or herself, and in general, not happy. Please surround them with the warmth of your love so they feel it. They feel it touching their hearts and entering their hearts, and they will feel better about themselves, better about this life, and they will have a chance to lead, to stand up and stand tall, and to lead happy, good life. Please help everyone in need. Thank you so much for giving us a chance, an opportunity to get together and create this community and pray every single day. Thanks for everyone who's praying along with me right now or simply watching us pray. Thank you. Please make everyone's prayer heard and answered and make everyone's dream and wish come true. Thank you, dear Lord. I would like to ask you to help a few people who need your help. They are Boggy Burger and his two sons. Please send angels to help them to go through the hard time and grievance. Kyle E.'s wife, Joseph Johnson, Paula McGillis, High Homestead, CB, and Larson's daughter Hannah, Morgan L., Terry Carter's former in-laws, T. Fall, Electron, Natasha's family, Kurt, Deborah, Jason Connor, Jenny Stevenson, Jay Spike, Leslie Fleming's daughter, Buzz Simon, Sam from Kiev, Wayne, Anna from Poland, Scan family members who are not feeling well and need your help, Dave, Dawn, Summer 613 mother, please send recovery, Mike O'Neill, Julia Haney, Susie Mailer, Vasilian Lubomirov, Liz Dumbrell, Darla, Alona and her boys, Bib, White Lightning, George Ruberty, Dave Strains, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Svetlana, Randolph, Grace Philosophy, Angelic at Life, Terry Fleming, David Porter, his family, and everyone in Chernovtsi, Ukraine, Joan Lee McMahon, Elvin, his sister, Pamela J., Leif, and Stefan from Sweden. Dear Lord, please also help all the children from Ukraine, from Israel, from Palestine, and from Russia who have been affected by the tragedies happening in the countries. Please send every child an angel and send protection. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Friends, thank you very much for coming. Fantastic to see everyone again. This is my honor. This is the high of my day, every day, to talk to you and, to do live stream. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. I'll definitely stay in touch via Patreon, via community posts and so forth. So before I sign off, I would like everyone to help me out a little bit. As usual, say it out loud along with me, as loud as you can. Carthago delenda est.